live from the Crusader Forum on the campus of Archbishop Riordan High School. This is a big-time West Catholic Athletic League varsity basketball game on this Tuesday night between the Archbishop Riordan Crusaders and the Monarchs of Mitty right here on the Riordan Broadcast Network. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bob Green, and joining me in a little bit will be our special guest color commentator, the great reporter Ethan Kessel. For now, you've just got me, and you've got the pregame warm-ups down on Kevin Rustani Court as the Crusaders are getting ready to take on the Monarchs in arguably the biggest West Catholic Athletic League game in this gym since 2007. And why do I say that? Because the last time the Crusaders won any part of a WCAL title was 2007. They split that league title with Mitty, and they won the ball game here on this court against the Monarchs that year en route to a 12-2 record in league play, same as Mitty, who beat them that year, that season, at Mitty in San Jose. This season, the Crusaders 18-3 overall. They come into this one 9-2 in WCAL play. They are smarting from a recent defeat over Bellarmine. They lost to Bellarmine at the Bells on Friday a week ago, and the Monarchs of Mitty are also coming off of a tough loss, really a shocking loss. They blew out SI the first time the two teams played, and then they played in the Sunset last Friday, and it was SI that upset Mitty by a final of 55-54. So Mitty comes into this one 17-4 overall and 8-3 in WCAL play, tied for second with the aforementioned Bellarmine Bells. And the first time these two teams played, Riordan broke a very long losing streak going all the way back to 2002 on Mitty's court. They won that game on January the 21st, 62-51. They put together an impressive run down the stretch of that one, outscoring the Monarchs down the stretch by a total of 15-1 to turn a 50-47 deficit into a 62-51 win. And because of that, Riordan has the one-game lead here as we are coming down the stretch of WCAL play. Riordan in white, Mitty in black. Mitty, the new school WCAL power with all of their recent championships since 2000. And of course, Riordan, the Crusaders, the old school WCAL power, which has risen back up again and is back in its spot, which it was in for so long, under the direction of guys like Ron Isola and Rich Forsland at and around the top of the WCAL. Should be a huge night. The band, of course, is here. The student section is here, and we are ready. This is about as good as it gets for a Tuesday night high school basketball game here on the Riordan Broadcast Network. So the warm-ups are finishing up, and we will turn it over here shortly to our public address announcer, the great Ron Isola, who has been a part of some great games in this series between Mitty and Riordan in the past as the head coach of this program here at Riordan. And now he gives back as our PA announcer.
This time I would ask you to please stand for our pregame prayer, followed by our national anthem. As a Catholic school in the Meredith tradition, we begin all activities by asking for God's blessing. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. God in heaven, we come before you tonight, and we give you thanks for your many blessings. May the actions of all here this evening, players, coaches, and fans, always reflect your love for all people. Please keep all of the athletes free from injury, and may they be strengthened in mind, body, and soul to do their very best. And together we pray the Meredith doxology. May the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be glorified in all places through the Immaculate Virgin Mary. Amen.
So the pregame prayer and the national anthem are complete, and the band will make its way back up into the stands, and we will get the introduction of the starters tonight here in this ball game, this huge game in the West Catholic Athletic League between Riordan and Mitty. Riordan winning earlier this season, breaking a losing streak that went all the way back to 2002 at Mitty. They hadn't won since 2002 at Mitty before winning earlier this season on January the 21st, 62-51. And now they're looking to sweep the Monarchs and really take control of the top spot in WCAL play with 2 games remaining after this.
Starting lineups for tonight's game. First for the visitors, the Mitty Monarchs, as announced by head coach Mitty. A 6'3" junior, number 1, Michael Mitchell. A 6'3" senior, number 2, Owen Brown. A 6'4" senior, number 4, Mason Ryan. A 6'3" senior, number 11, Marcus Green. And the 6'3" senior, number 13, Jacob Ryan. Now the starting lineup for the Riordan Crusaders is announced by head coach Joe Gordon. A 7'1" senior, number 23, Moore. A 6'4" senior, number 11, Dominic Wilson. A 6'1" junior, number 3, Lee Hubbard.
right, the starting lineups have been announced. Mitty, as presented by head coach Tim Kennedy, sends out its starting lineup, and they love to bomb it. They're not that big, though they can go a little bit bigger than their starting group tonight. They really are playing just a bunch of guards when it's all said and done. Mike Mitchell, Owen Brown, and Marcus Green are definitely guards. Mason Ryan and Jacob Ryan could be considered guards if you wanted them to be, but they're really forwards on this team with this group of 5. And for Riordan, Robert Viola, who hasn't played in oh so long, is out of that cast and available on the bench tonight. He's not in the starting lineup. Joey Curtin, the head coach, going with what has become his traditional starting lineup at this point. The 3 guards, Jelani Clark, Bryce Monroe, and Lee Hubbard. Dominic Wilson at the forward spot, and big 7'1" sophomore Morsek jumping up against Jacob Ryan. Riordan in the white, Mitty in the black, and we are underway. Huge game tonight here at the Forum, and Riordan starts the night in possession. Monroe and Clark really led the comeback in the second half in the win on January 21st. We'll see if they can carry that play into this one. 2 chances for Riordan to start the night, and a foul on the second one as Morsek will get to the line. Mitty is very athletic, and they can go to their bench and get a bit bigger, but the guys they're starting, especially against this Riordan squad, they are not big relative to the Crusaders. Nobody's really big compared to Morsek, who misses the first. On last Friday against Bellarmine, the Crusaders were badly out-rebounded, especially in that third quarter that was key in that game that Riordan lost. Of course, Mitty dropped an even tougher ball game considering the opponent at SI on Friday night. So both trying to bounce back from tough defeats in league play. Riordan going man-to-man and really pressing up on the Monarchs here to start the game. Marcus Green, he's one of the many great shooters that the Monarchs have. That's a 3 blocked by Morsek. And Riordan runs. And Bryce Monroe hangs. Missed the shot. Wilson the board. Couple of tips, no good. And here come the Monarchs back the other way. Ooh, Jelani Clark deflected it. Mason Ryan got it back though. 3 from the corner. That's up. That's no good. And we'll run back the other way. Both these teams love to move. Mitty loves to shoot the 3. Riordan loves to get to the rim. And as I say that, Jelani Clark shoots a 3. That's no good. As the ball was in flight, a whistle and a foul underneath. And that's going to be another foul against the Monarchs. And that's the first foul against Jake Ryan. Jelani Clark had 20 in the win over Mitty the first time these two teams played, and it felt like all the big buckets came by him down the stretch, along with some big scoring by Bryce Monroe. Good skip, Lee Hubbard open. That one off. Green controls the board and brings it up the floor himself. He gets to the rim, got a shot partially blocked, I think, by Clark, and Sek controls the board. Here comes Jelani pogoing into a 3, no good. Sek tips it, but Mike Mitchell has it. Mitchell, very dangerous, arguably the best player on this very talented Mitty team, only a junior. Mitty brought it inside just to get it outside for an open 3, way off the mark. Mason Ryan knew it, but went after it and got his own miss. Owen Brown will try one inside, no good. Mitty appears to be rushing a bit in the early going. Riordan no better really with the shooting. It's only 1-0 off the 1 made free throw. Now a whistle and a foul is going to negate what was ultimately a made basket by Bryce Monroe, but it came after the foul. And Tim Kennedy's not going to wait around. He's going to get some bigger guys out there right away. Arsh Bandal, 6'9" junior, and Nigel Burris, a 6'7" junior, into the game. And then off the inbound, one of the smallest guys on the court, if not the smallest guy right now, Bryce Monroe scores a layup. Our first made field goal of the night. Here's Burris stripped by Wilson. I think Everyone thought for a moment that hit off of Burris, but they say it was off of Wilson. It'll stay with Mitty. Riordan won the game here in the series last season. It's a game Riordan had control of throughout, and then late Mitty got back into it, and the Crusaders held on. Off the turnover, Bryce Monroe. No good. Morsek is good with the dunk, and Tim Kennedy needs a timeout. 5:20 left here in the opening quarter. Riordan not even 3 minutes into this one, and it's Crusaders 5 and Monarchs nothing here on the Riordan Broadcast Network. So out of the 30-second timeout, Mitty has possession. We aren't even 3 minutes into this one, and Riordan has a 5-0 advantage, and the Monarchs seem really out of sorts. Here's Green. And now Mike Mitchell, guarded by Lee Hubbard. He'll go to the basket, and he just shot it too strong. He got his own miss, though, and then he flipped it up, no good. Bodies on the floor. We're going to have a tie-up. And the arrow goes to the Monarchs. So Mitty retains possession. Riordan playing very hard. Mitty playing hard too, but the Monarchs are, like I said, rushing a bit to say the least. That's a pass out to the top. It's stolen by Bryce Monroe. And Bryce is going to go in, go up, and make the lay-in. Bodies flying around. Right now, all the buckets for the Crusaders. Mitchell back the other way. No. Tip up. That's finally going to be a basket that's good and a foul. Bondal made the tip in, and I think he's going to shoot one. Tim Kennedy started a group that was pretty darn small, especially against this Crusader team, and he quickly got his bigger guys out there, and now that pays some dividends as his first points come from his biggest guy, Bondal, with a three-point play. So Riordan now up 4, and Mitty in the half court with a zone look here on defense. Long three, short. Shan Mayut, newly into the game, hustled after it but couldn't get to it. So now Mitty has it again. Mitchell up in the air, got it outside. Mike Mitchell on the dribble. He'll get it back and go back to work. Bounces to Bondal, who goes up, went under the basket, reversed, laid it in. So 5 for the big guy, and Mitty has cut a 7-0 deficit to a 7-5 deficit. Robert Vaihola about to check in for the first time in seemingly forever. Monroe, tough jumper, rattles out. Jelani Clark the board. What a pass inside to Chan. He slung that inside, and Chan laid it home easy. Great play by Jelani Clark. 3.5 to go. Riordan back up 4. The energy in here is big time, to say the least. Mike Mitchell, tough three, no good. Nowhere close. Very good defense. Bryce Monroe tried to shovel it off, turned it over. Now the Monarchs will run, and they'll turn it over. Out to Monroe, corner triple, no good. Fighting for the ball, and it'll stay with Riordan out of bounds. And here comes Big Rob. So Robert Vaihola, who had a huge game at Valley Christian, all the way back in what was very early at that point in the league season, way back in the first half of the season, or still relatively early, the regular season. Hurt his finger, dislocated finger, and he's missed a bunch of time since then. Now he's in there, and he watches his teammate Bryce Monroe score on the drive. Monroe is very active here offensively in the early going. Riordan back up 11-5 now. Green down the lane, no good. Robbed the rebound, and Riordan will run back the other way. Monroe gets it to Chan, out to Jelani. Thought about the three, then thought better of it. Jelani just doesn't feel it right now from outside. He's taken a couple, and they haven't gone. He'll try again. That goes. So he passed up the wide open three to take the one off the dribble with a man in his face, and it went right down the chute. Another timeout, Mitty. They've used two already, 2:19 left here in the first. Riordan up 14-5. Out of Mitty's second timeout so far in the first roughly 6 minutes of this game. Sean Quantico has checked in for the Crusaders, getting his first run. James Thomas, newly into the game for Mitty, wears number 23. And out of the timeout, Mitty gets an open three that's no good, but they'll get a second chance and lay it home. So the Monarchs, with some effort there, get a second chance basket. Riordan, leading up to that, had out-rebounded the Monarchs 12-8. Bounce inside to Rob, and Bondal felled him. Robert Vaihola, transfer from Hillsdale, throughout the season had been working his way really into more of a rhythm as a member of this very talented Crusader team, and he'd really reached a high level of play when he was injured earlier this season. Dom Wilson way off the mark. Sean Quantico, good hustle. And they're going to say that was last touch by a member of Riordan's team. I'm not sure how that's possible, and this might get changed. And it is going to get changed. Sean Quantico made that happen with the effort, the sophomore. Inside to Jelani, and he's fouled as Mike Mitchell banged into him on the entry pass. So Mitty's now been whistled for 5 team fouls, and the Monarchs have already used 2 of their 5 timeouts. Bryce Monroe, nice pass to Sean Quantico, who's strong with the 3, and Jake Ryan clears the board and brings it up. Lost it, got it back, and here's Owen Brown. Brown to Mitchell, open 3 in rhythm. That's short. Good rebound by Vaihola. Bryce Monroe off the big Rob, up and in. Good pass, great finish, and Riordan leads by 9. Final minute here of the quarter. An opening quarter controlled by the Purple Gold. That's a travel by Nigel Burris. Nigel Burris just traveled, and they missed it, and it cost the Crusaders 3. He literally walked right into a 3-point jump shot. It's a big make for Mitty, which had been off from 3, and that's obviously a big part of their game. Tough shot, Bryce Monroe, no good. And now the Monarchs have it again, and they have a chance to take the final shot of the quarter. They won't wait around, though. Foul on, I think, a pass. Burris fouled by Viola with 20.2 to go. Chan's going to come back in. And they do call it on the pass. It's a big moment here. Riordan up 9. Mitty makes a 3, and now they have a chance to score again before the quarter ends. And now a foul before an inbound pass could be made. Third team foul against the Crusaders. Thought Mitty was trying to get somebody into the game, but they decide against it. Here's Owen Brown on the drive. Up, no good. Tip up, no good. Ball loose. Outside it goes. And Thomas banks in a rainbow 3. How about that? Final seconds, Jelani Clark way outside. Oh, that was halfway down and popped out. So we are 1 quarter down here in this big ball game, and Riordan leads Mitty 16-13 as I bring in Ethan Castle. And Ethan, that ended really well for Mitty, but overall it was a quarter controlled by the Crusaders.
Absolutely. I thought the final bucket they got with Monroe not only drawing the double team, but instead of looking to drive through it, pass to Viola, you get that sort of action, you're going to be unstoppable.
So one key obviously for Mitty there at the end of the quarter, which is their key almost all the time, is they made some three-point baskets, and they didn't get it from the guys they normally get threes from. Obviously shooting threes is going to be a big part of their offense. I've yet to see Mitty play in person. This is my first go-around this year, but I've seen them play before with this core group in the past. I know shooting the three is a huge part of what they do, and I feel like no matter what the game looks like, they can shoot their way back into a game or even out of a game.
Absolutely. With their size, they are going to largely live by the three and dive by the three, but they can get some points going off drives. I like what Thomas gave off the bench, number 23. Good spark he provided.
Good end of the quarter for the road team, and because of it, they trail by only 3. It'll be Riordan ball here to start the second quarter, and Morsek, the big guy, back out there. It's Seck, Hubbard, Clark, Monroe, and Wilson. The 5 for Joey Curtin. Dom Wilson, corner 3. That's way off the mark. Dom knew it, too. He ran after it right after it left his hand. Newly into the game is the man who just shot that jumper. But that was no good. Here's another jump shot. That is good. And we're tied after Mike Mitchell made 3. Aiden Burke, the sophomore, took the first one. So 3 triples have Mitty back to even with the Crusaders. Riordan needs a hoop. It'll be Jelani Clark from outside. Yes! In rhythm, good pass by Bryce Monroe. Riordan has to guard that three-point line. Outside it goes again, up it goes again. No good this time, no foul. Jelani could have been called for a foul, they don't whistle it. Now a turnover, and Mitty's going to get an easy one. Dom Wilson had his pass stolen. Well, 19-18 our score here. We expected a good one. It's been a good one here so far in this ball game between 2 of the top teams in the WCAL. Wilson probing, outside he goes. 3 is there for Jelani, thought better of it. Goes inside, goes up, no good. Got his own miss for a moment, then lost it, and now Mitty has it. Here's Brown up, out of control, and a turnover. Monroe a 3. That's no good. Ball loose, knocked out of bounds. And they say Mitty ball. So Joey Curtin wants a timeout. He's going to get it. 30-second timeout. Both teams were going to their bench there, so we'll check the subs after the timeout. I want to bring Ethan back in here. And Ethan, this I mean, you kind of expect this with two really great teams. Riordan came out really full force. They were up in the game early. They were up 14-5. They were up 7-0 before that. They were up 16-7. Things have really turned back now in favor of the visitor.
No surprise, Mitty gets it going, hits a couple threes in succession. And what's scary is they just now got the one from Mitchell, but they haven't gotten Owen Brown going yet. They haven't gotten Green going yet. They've got a lot of weapons. And so far, up until that 1-3 by Mitchell, it's been a lot of their secondary scoring.
Yes, indeed it has been. Of course, Mike Mitchell is not a secondary scorer on any roster, and he's got the ball now with his team trailing by 1. 5:45 to go before halftime. 3 up by Green, no good. Bondal the rebound, though, and he gets the putback. And Mitty has the lead. First lead of the night for the Monarchs at 20-19. Outside it goes to Rini. He gets it to Jelani. Clark on the drive, leans in, and scores. That was pretty. Riordan back by 1. Nobody stopped Mitchell, and then he gets it off to Bondal, who scores easily. Bondal is having a huge first half. The 6'9" post. Playing even bigger than his 6'9" frame. Mitty backing off. Riordan is moving the ball on the perimeter, but nothing there. Shot clock under 10, got to go now. Hubbard up, and he got the roll. Lee Hubbard, who's not a big-time scorer, but he's capable, and he does so there, and it's Riordan back in front by 1. Green on the drive, cut off by Monroe. Good defense, good rotating there by Riordan. Monroe guarding Green, very dangerous. Known as a three-point specialist, but he could dribble the basketball and attack. Riordan all over the Mitty offensive players. They get a shot up and they get a second chance, no good. A third chance is good. Burke finally puts it home. And Riordan getting hurt on the glass as they did against the Bells. Lead changing hands a bunch here in this second quarter. Jelani Clark, nope, not that time. That was way short. You could tell out of his hand. Now somebody's got to stop the ball. Ryan to the basket, and he was out of control. Good job by the official not calling anything, but then somehow they say it's Mitty ball. I didn't think anybody touched it for Riordan. This might get changed, but the other official's going, I didn't see anything, probably. Now he's going to go to his other guy. They're going to say Riordan ball. So 2 times already, the initial call has gone in favor of the road team, and then the officials have talked to change the call. 3:28 to go before halftime. Riordan in possession, trailing by 1. Biggest lead of the game for either team. It's been 9 by Riordan. That was in the first quarter. Bryce Monroe slips, gets it up, no good. Tip attempt, no good by Robb, and a foul. Vaihola fouled Burris. It's 4 on the Crusaders and 2 on Vaihola. And now a whistle, and they're going to call a foul against Riordan, and that's going to go against Rini. So both teams have been whistled for 5 fouls. 7 fouls is bonus. 10 is the double bonus. Riordan does a good job, and now we have a 5-second call. Mitchell just couldn't find someone to throw it to, and in the end, a 5-second violation gives it back to Riordan. Mitty has really changed this game after the early onslaught by Riordan, and you expect Mitty to respond, and they have. Now Riordan has to bounce back. There's a bad pass, maybe a bit of miscommunication. Clark turns it over. So Mitty has it again. It hasn't been the prettiest game. Perhaps nerves playing a bit of a role. Here's Mitchell guarded by Hubbard. Outside it goes. You know Mitty's looking to try to get a shot outside. In the process of doing that this time, an offensive foul and a legal screen. So another turnover. That's 2 on Mondal. 6 now whistled against Mitty. Here's Clark in an isolation. Now he moves it. Good job by Mitty on defense here. Monroe on the dribble. Really had nowhere to go and he turned it over. Good defense by the Monarchs. Burke has a 3 and he gets it to go. Open 3 in transition, and Mitty has its largest lead at 27-23. Crusaders need a bucket. Lee Hubbard, shot blocked, and that's a double dribble. They don't call it. Riordan gets the turnover anyway. Now can they get anything? They're going to get a foul called on Mitty, and free throw attempts, possibly plural, but at least one coming for Jelani Clark. Some odd misses by the officials tonight. I get that some funky stuff has happened, but you consider the quality of this crew. It's odd to see guys of this quality miss stuff in the open floor that seems fairly obvious, such as some double dribbles, some clear travels on catches. Now some discussion about Robert Vaihola's jersey. He's got blood or something on the jersey. I think they're going to make him come out. So Sek is going to come in. Jelani Clark is eventually going to shoot a 1-and-1. These are big free throws. He makes the first to get the second. Riordan had gone scoreless there for a bit. Because of it, Mitty had taken a 4-point lead. Now 2 free throws cuts the Riordan deficit to 2 here. Minute 49 to go in the second quarter. Mitchell up the floor quickly. And Burris has it. He traveled. They don't call it. He loses it. And they're going to say it was touched by a Riordan player. Nigel Burris traveled at the top of the circle when he caught that to make his move. And they did not whistle it. Off the inbound, good passing leads to an open 3 that's down. Burris another triple, and a 5-point lead for Mitty. Jelani Clark hangs, missed the shot off the right side of the rim. And now the Monarchs back the other way. And Mike Mitchell gets it to his big man who scores inside. That was a nice play and a good finish. And it's 32-25. If my memory is correct, this was the halftime score of the first matchup, with Mitty having the 7-point lead at home. Double team, step back is good. That was a very tough shot, and he stuck it pretty routinely. Back to a 5-point game, but the defense has to pick up. Ooh, nearly a steal, but not to be. The 3-point shot, a huge part of this second quarter for the Monarchs, and it continues with the triple. 8-point advantage for Mitty. 14 for Bondal. Final 15 seconds of the half. It started so good for the Crusaders, but so far here throughout this second quarter, it's really been advantage Mitty. Down to 2, got to go. Bryce Monroe, yes! And that's a key shot. And the triple sends us to halftime at 35-30 here in this huge basketball game at the Crusader Forum on the Riordan Broadcast Network. Welcome back here, Bob Green, along with Ethan Castle. And Ethan, entertaining first half. Really good first half overall for the Crusaders. Even better first quarter for the Crusaders. Even better second quarter for the Monarchs. And because of it, it's Mitty 35 and Riordan 30 here after 2 quarters in this huge WCAL contest.
The one thing that stands out, Archbishop, he is having the game of his life. He's had some strong performances this year. I believe he had 21 against Sacred Heart Cathedral the first time those teams met. But 6 of 6 shooting, even knocking down a 3. He's got 14. Riordan's going to have to find a way to stop him in order to win this game.
He didn't start this game, and really early on, Tim Kennedy clearly decided, hey, I can't go small tonight. I've got to get some size out there. I think he obviously did that feeling like Bondal could make an impact. He could have never expected that the big man could have been this offensive in the ballgame.
Absolutely. You know, you could expect him to clean up on the boards with a couple of putbacks, but what he's done has been ridiculous. And good on the Mitty guards for feeding him repeatedly. He's been able to score further and further from the basket, getting into some mid-range stuff, and like we said, even knocking down a three-pointer.
Pace and tempo a big part of this matchup. Both teams like to run. It feels like Mitty has gotten into their running game a little bit more and has a little bit more control about what they want to do when attacking. Even in their secondary break, they're getting some good stuff.
Yeah, you can see that the ball really started flowing in the second. Mitty started getting the drive and kick action they wanted. They really worked it around the perimeter. First quarter, Riordan was having none of that, really forcing a lot of turnovers. Got to get back to that.
Of course, it could have been worse in terms of the halftime deficit. Riordan was down by as many as 8, but Bryce Monroe hits the buzzer beater, the big 3, at the end of the half to cut it to the 5-point deficit. He's been good at points. Jelani Clark's been good. I think it's ultimately going to be about other guys joining the party. Although the first time these two teams played, you saw that ball game in person at Mitty, it was really those two in the second half that took over, especially Jelani down the stretch.
Got to get them going on the baseline drives again. They are unstoppable, both of them, when they work there. You know, they're good heading through traffic from the top of the key, but you can send double teams at them. It's a lot harder to double them if they go to the baseline.
One thing that Mitty seemed to do a really nice job of in that first half was they made it difficult on Bryce Monroe, who was getting by his initial defender, and then coming over to help, and then realizing that we want to contest but also deal with any passes he might make. He was having a hard time making some of those electrifying assists that he's capable of making because they were there to cut it off.
Exactly. The one he had to Vaihola in the first quarter, that was phenomenal, but Mitty's managed to prevent him from recreating that at all. He hasn't been able to get any of the other bigs the ball, and Mitty's done just such a good job denying and clogging every conceivable lane. It's almost like they have a 6th or 7th defender out there. That's how quick they've been.
The second half should be entertaining. The first one was as well. Coming up in a little bit, we will have second half coverage of this huge game between Mitty and Riordan here at the Crusader Forum in San Francisco. So we're just about ready for the start of the second half. Mitty on top as we are finishing up halftime, 35-30. And Riordan led 16-13 after one quarter, but the Monarchs turned that 3-point deficit into as much as an 8-point lead before Bryce Monroe made a three right as the half was ending. And Pat Sagerson, our stat man who provides great statistics, is also pointing out that we already had blood on, or something, we assume it was blood on Robert Vihola's jersey, and now you see other players over with the Riordan training staff, including Lee Hubbard. And they don't appear to be tending to anything truly medical other than the fact that they're dealing with his jersey, so you have to assume maybe blood on his jersey as well. So Riordan and Mitty in this big basketball game. Key game, ton on the line. Riordan leads in the standings in the WCAL by 1 game over this Mitty team, and Bellarmine, of course, is in action tonight. And Lee Hubbard has been dealt with in terms of his jersey, and he's out there as we begin the second half. So Mitty in possession, up by 5. Riordan got up 16-7, and since then it's been Mitty controlling the action, and they did so there on the back cut. Got an easy one to their best player, and he missed it. So a break for the Crusaders. Monroe, nope, too strong. Knocked out of bounds, and they're going to say it's Riordan basketball. So some breaks for the Crusaders here in the early going. That was a nicely designed play. They got a Division I talent, an open shot low right, and he missed it. Here's Clark. Hesitation, spin, hangs, and rattles it home. I don't know how you're supposed to stop that. Back the other way, a turnover. Wilson bumped Mason Ryan, no call. And Riordan off to a nice start here in the first 40 seconds. Clark, up fake, step back, 3 up, short. Johnny taking a lot of jump shots tonight. Ryan to the other Ryan, Jake Ryan. And now Mason Ryan has it again. Now Mike Mitchell. Hubbard on the defense. Morsek jumps out at Ryan, who leans in and missed the layup. Sek's presence affected that one. Clark drives in, jump stop, hangs, and will shoot 2. One thing about the first time these two teams played is Riordan, especially Clark and Monroe, made a very concerted effort in the second half comeback to get to the basket. Get paint touches, as they say. And there he went in strong, and he'll try to make it 2 made free throws here. And right away, Tim Kennedy's not going to mess around. His best player in the first half was his 6'9" post player coming off the bench, Arish Bandal, and he goes back to him right away before even the 6.5-minute mark of the third quarter. Both free throws down, 1-point game. Green is going to be called for a carry. Mitty has played really well, but the Monarchs have turned it over a bunch, and they do so again there. So Riordan has a chance to go back in front here. Zone look by the Monarchs, 2-3 zone with a good amount of length and athleticism out there. Monroe, very difficult pass. He tried to no-look it and whip it inside to a cutting Wilson. It went past Dom, out of bounds into the student section. Good news is there's some baseball players over there, so they were able to catch it. So a turnover by Riordan, and now Mitty has it again, leading by 1. Mitchell, catch and shoot. That's right down the center of the basket. Well executed. Back to a 4-point advantage. Monroe up, and that's good. And that is classic Bryce Monroe, knifing through the defense. Riordan has to play defense. That's the key. Clark going after the ball. Owen Brown comes away with it. He was sitting down when he got back to it. But Mitty still has it. No whistles on any of that. 2-point game. Mitty with the advantage and the basketball. Bondal to Brown. Open. Wing three. No good. Morsek flies in. And then a whistle. And they're going to call a foul, I do believe. That one was going in, and it just rattled out. Nigel Burris, who hit a couple of 3-point shots, which was key in that second quarter and really late first quarter, second quarter run by Mitty to go from down 9 to up by as many as 8, checks in for the Monarchs. Riordan down 2 here. Monroe inside to Morsek. Good look by the senior guard to the sophomore post. And we're tied at 38. Tom Wilson all over Burris, who gets it to Green out by the Block R logo. Shot clock down to 20. Green drives, goes up, got a shot blocked. Ball's loose. Bondal, of course, has it. It's been his night, and it continues as he banks it home. Mitty back by 2. Key moment there. Riordan had a chance to run. Instead, Monarchs get a basket inside, and then a bad miss by Wilson, who's been way off the mark here when he's been shooting jump shots tonight. Green on the drive, shot blocked. Wilson has it this time. Riordan will run. That should be, that you could argue that should be an intentional foul. Owen Brown reached out and just grabbed Jelani Clark. I didn't see any attempt at all to try to go after the ball. I get that officials don't want to call that, but I mean, Jelani had gotten past him and he just grabbed him around his shoulders. I'm not sure how that's going for the basketball in any way. So as it is, Riordan will be side out here. Mitty by 2, just past the midpoint of this third quarter. Bryce Monroe pulls up and ties the game at 40. Here's Mitchell, guarded by Hubbard. Wilson and Burris are just fighting down on the block, and a whistle is going to be a foul call against the defender there, Wilson. First foul of this second half on Riordan, and now we're going to have a second. That's on Morsek. His second personal foul. And now the inbound pass is stolen by Riordan. 3-on-3 break. Bryce Monroe, shot blocked. Bryce was being very patient there. And he went up, and the defender sent it away, but it'll stay Riordan basketball. We're going to have Bondal stay in the game. Brown's going to come out. Tim Kennedy's thinking, I don't want him out of the game. He's played too well. Clark has it. Jelani goes up. Shot blocked, really. They don't call the foul, so that's a blocked shot. Here comes Mitty. Nobody stops Green. Gets it to Bondal, who's stripped, but it'll stay with Mitty. Really a sloppy game, in part because of the quality of both of these teams making it tough on one another at times. But very much in balance in terms of who can win this one. Timeout by Mitty So the Monarchs just used their third timeout. It's a full timeout. And we'll pause with them with 3:14 to go here in the third. Tied at 40 on the Riordan Broadcast Network. So out of the timeout, it'll be Mitty basketball. Riordan has its starting five out there. The big man, Sek, Wilson at forward, and the three guards, Hubbard, Monroe, and Clark. Mitty has a combination of starters and reserves in, as Jelani Clark blocks Aiden Burke's shot off the inbound. Recovered nicely there. One of the reasons that Mitty has its backups in is because one of those backups, Bondal, the big guy, number 21, has been their best player. Burke open, and he missed it. Wide open, missed the shot. Tim Kennedy wanted a foul on the rebound, but no call. Riordan trying to go back in front. They won't do it here, or will they? They get a second chance at it. Still haven't taken the lead. Mitty tried to save it, but cannot. And the fans, the student section down there, aided in that call as they made a big to-do about what was going on when Marcus Green went after that. And then the official over there is making a big to-do about the students making noise. And that's a big show that doesn't need to go on. If you want to move them, but there's no need to make a big deal about that. Here's Clark attacking outside to Hubbard, a three. No, I thought it was going in. It didn't go in. That was like an optical illusion, as it was well short. Then Wilson got the board and got fouled. He missed the putback attempt, but he'll shoot two. So Hubbard was open, but he just short-armed that. 2:31 to go here in the third. Riordan has now finally retaken the lead. 41-40 with another free throw coming. It was Mitty by 5 at the end of 2. It's now Riordan by 2 with 2.5 to go here in the third. Defense has really picked up for the Crusaders, although they have been helped by some poor offense by the Monarchs. Here's Mitchell bouncing to Bondal, who's been really hot. Does not continue there, though. He left it short. Another point-blank miss. Monroe, though, loses it in the open court, and now Mitty has it. Mitchell to Burke, up, and a miss, and set the board. And Riordan can run. Don Wilson didn't see Jelani Clark. It might have cost the Crusaders 2. In the end, it doesn't because Bryce Monroe hangs and scores. Back the other way. Bondal up, no good. Ball loose. It's going to be Bondal scoring. Oh, man, the length of the 6'9" post. Big moment there. Riordan had a chance to get the ball back. Bryce out of control, no whistle either way. Now you got to keep playing. 1.5 to go. Mitty down 2 with the ball. And a slip by Don Wilson and a basket by Burris has retied the game at 44. A lot of bodies hitting the deck, and that's led to some slickness on the court, and it impacted the Crusaders in a big way there. We're going to have an official timeout to work on the floor, I think. Is somebody actually going to do anything, or are we just going to look at each other?
Who's supposed to clean the floor?
Well, everybody kind of looked at everybody. Jason Morris brought out a towel. There's the dry mops on both ends, and I still haven't seen anybody do anything. That was odd. Riordan in possession. Skip to Monroe. We're tied at 44. Riordan got to a 4-point advantage, but Mitty scored the last couple of baskets. Monroe. Skip to Jelani. 3 up. No. And Mitty has the ball. That was not a good offensive possession. And now Riordan's just chasing the basketball. They got to get set on defense. They don't. And it leads to an open 3 that's no good. Viola had it, got fouled. So Riordan got bailed out there. 37.8 seconds remaining. So the shot clock and game clock separated by 2.8 seconds. Chan's going to sit down. Arini's going to come on. Rob Viola's going to sit down. Morsek is going to come back in. Riordan can take this pretty much all the way down and then also get the ball to start the fourth quarter as the arrow is in their favor. Mitty's going to come out on Hubbard and make him have to do some stuff here. Shot clock down to 15. Game clock, again, about 2-second difference. Really almost a 3-second difference. Got to go now. Monroe. 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 Yes! A big triple. And then Mitchell's heave at the buzzer is no good. And Bryce Monroe does at the end of the third quarter exactly what he did at the end of the first half. Made a 3 to really help the Crusaders. And because of it, it's Riordan on top 47-44 as we head to the final quarter of regulation in this enormous WCAL contest. So Riordan has the arrow, up 3 in the ball game as we begin the fourth quarter. And now, if I'm hearing that correctly, we've got some sort of alarm or something going on?
Shot clock. Not setting.
Something going on with the shot clock. We might have to check that out. So it sounds like it might be an alarm of some kind. We were thinking it was the shot clock. So as if this game didn't have enough intrigue as it is, we now have an alarm going off. And at least for the moment, we're going to stop play. So I've broadcast basketball games here for 7 seasons now. I've never seen this. Again, you've been here a lot longer than me. Have you ever seen that before? No. And then it got turned off. I'm not sure how it happened, but it's off, and the crowd reacting to that.
Just cut off all the emergency lines.
Yeah, we probably just said, oh, and it's back.
You just did it when you opened the door.
So whatever it was, it went away, and then it came back. So for a moment we had relief, but now it's back. And now people are trying to check out what's going on. And in the interim, let's look at the stats right now. The key guys for the Crusaders, as they usually are, have been Monroe and Clark. Monroe especially tonight, 20 points through 3 quarters. Clark, 14 points. Riordan outscored the Monarchs 17-9 in that 3rd quarter. And thus, the 3-point advantage here as we enter the 4th. When we do resume play, Riordan will have the basketball. And the guys might have to do some warming up. Again, we'll see how that goes. So what an odd situation. The surprising player in this game for both teams is the big guy off the bench, Archbishop, 8 of 10 from the field for 18 points. And the alarm just went off again, which is great. Last time it was only a short reprieve. Joey Curtin was in there. One of our athletic directors, Jason Morris, was there. I don't know what they did. And now it's back. So I have no idea what's going on or what's causing this. We'll see what we're going to do. We're going to break here for a moment due to this alarm. We'll see what we can do to find out any information. And if it's going to stop there, it stops again. The odd part is what's happening to cause it. And I like the idea of Mr. Galindo here sitting in the stands. He's saying somebody is opening the door, keep it closed. You know, it sounds like that's in a way you're joking, but I think you may actually be right. Luis Galindo, the father of the former Riordan great 3-point shooter, Eric Galindo. Eric was a key player on some of the first Riordan teams that I ever got to broadcast.
Big up signs from Jones and Curtin. Not Joey, but Dan. Are we winning?
So Riordan is winning the game 47-44. And at long last, we start the 4th. So that long break, very odd, but I think fitting considering this game and what's at stake. Monroe, step back jumper, rattles out. Fight for the board, and Mitty has it. And it's Thomas. Oh, Lee Hubbard with the steal. He poked it away, and now it'll be Clark with the dunk. Great pass. And Riordan up 5. Big moment here in the early going. Tim Kennedy's all over the officials there. He wanted a foul call. Lee Hubbard, the key man there to start it. And then Monroe and Clark finished it. Burris, a jumper. That's no good. Rebound, Clark. Here comes Jelani down the floor, out to the corner. 3 up. No good. Oh, that would have blown the roof off this place. Mitchell has it now. 1 minute into the 4th. Owen Brown doesn't want to shoot it. Dribbles into traffic. Skips it out. Oh, Mike Mitchell saved the day. It was going to be a steal by Clark. Here's Thomas. Trying to enter, has to go to the top. Brown. Good defense by Clark. Green goes in, out of control on a whistle. And that's a tough call because Green was completely out of control, but he'll shoot 2. Riordan huddled up there. Green to shoot 2 here. Riordan had the ball up 5. Couldn't score, and now Mitty's shooting 2 free throws. Makes the first. Mondal, who's been huge tonight, figuratively and literally and everywhere else in between for Mitty, comes back in. So does Mason Ryan. Thomas sits down, so does Brown. Second free throw is also good. Green makes them both. Back to a 3-point game. Lee Hubbard in possession of the ball, guarded by Mason Ryan. They get it to Bryce Monroe's trying to find somebody to pass to. Now a backup on the dribble. Shot clock down to 15. Shot clock down to 10. Bryce has to go, and he will go, and he'll dump it off to nobody. And ultimately, not a turnover yet. A Lee Hubbard heave, no good. It's going to stay Riordan ball. Amazing defense by the Monarchs, but Riordan has it with 6:06 left and a fresh shot clock. Green jumps out on Monroe, who's on the dribble, bounces to Reaney. Reaney back to Bryce. Now Hubbard. Now Jelani Clark. Riordan really not doing a whole heck of a lot. We'll see what they get out of all of this. They're going to get a Jelani Clark 3. That is no good. And that's off of Mitty too. Oh, they say it was somehow touched by a player in white. So 5:32 to go. Riordan not doing much offensively during all of that. And Moore, Seck, and Wilson are going to come back in. And Reaney and Robert Vaihola sit down. So Mitty has the ball here, trailing by 3. Mitchell got it to Bruce, who hands off to Green. Teams have really slowed the pace here in the fourth quarter. Here's Mitchell. Gets the screen, bounces back to Bondal, who gets it to Ryan for 3. No good. That is a big miss. Ryan was open and he missed it to the right. Riordan back in possession. And Joey Curtin gets the timeout, and I get why he's upset. You know, Joey called that almost immediately, asked for the timeout almost immediately. The officials right there by him and didn't call it until Lee was in real trouble, but they do get the timeout with 28 on the shot clock, 4:55 on the game clock. It's a full timeout. So Riordan has the ball out of the timeout. The scoreboard shows 3 timeouts left for the Crusaders, 2 for the Monarchs. There's 28 on the shot clock. Somebody's got to come get the ball, by the way. Finally, Bryce Monroe does. This feels like a big moment. Riordan in possession, up 3. But they've become really stagnant on offense, seemingly out of nowhere here. Monroe floats it, scores it. That was really nice. Riordan back by 5 with 4.5 to go. Here's Green, he traveled, they don't call it. Good job by Monroe to recover there and work over the screen. Shot clock down to 10. Green's going to go. Going to look for somebody to get it to, and he does. Now Ryan on the drive. He slips. He traveled. They don't call it. He gets it back. That should have been a shot clock violation. Somehow the shot clock got reset. And the 3-pointer's up and good, and it's a 2-point game.
Wow, bro. That's huge.
It's a big moment there. 3:35 to go and counting. Back to a 2-point game. Jelani up, and he'll shoot 2. So that was an odd exchange, and in the end, the reset shot clock, and the officials let it stand. I don't know if the shot clock would have expired, but as it is, the shot clock was reset when the shot was being taken for 3. It's 2 free throws for Clark here. And this is the first. The 3-point basket's always a big part of Mitty's game. It's been big, of course, tonight. Second one down, 17 for Jelani. 52-49 Riordan with 3.5 to go here in regulation. Mike Mitchell out to Bondal. He'll try to tie it, and he will tie it. We're tied at 52. Riordan had a 5-point advantage, but that's all gone now. 3 minutes left.
He's 10 of 12.
Monroe tries to respond, and he can't. Missed it off to the right and long. Mitchell flies up, bounces to Burris, missed the shot. Tip-in is good, plus the foul. My, how things have changed. Mitty by 2 with a free throw coming. And a timeout taken by Riordan. So Arish Bandal, who's having a career night plus, has 26, and he's got another chance to add to it with a free throw coming. His team was down 5 a moment ago, but now up 2 with a free throw to make it a 3-point advantage with 2:47 left. Both teams have 2 timeouts left. Free throw's good. Of course it's good. And Joey Curtin's really upset about something. Must be procedural involving the free throw. So a big moment here. 3-point deficit. Monroe inside, got fouled. They don't call it. Wilson the board. He's getting fouled. They're not calling it. Dom is going to go up and get fouled finally and shoot 2. So good effort. It's the 7th team foul against Mitty. Riordan has been whistled for 4. These are big free throws, obviously. So 27 points for Bondal, and that is the difference to say the least. And that's also hurting missed free throws. Riordan had a 5-point advantage at multiple points of this 4th quarter. Right now it's Mitty by 3, and now Mitty by 2 with 2:24 to go, and the Monarchs have the ball. Mike Mitchell outside Burris, 3 up, no good. Tipped out, Green has it, and a fresh shot clock. Mike Mitchell, 2-point basket, that rattles home. 4-point lead for Mitty with 2 minutes to go. Riordan trying to get something here. They have an open shot, and they make it. 3 by Jelani Clark. Timeout Riordan. 1:44 left. That's a huge shot by Clark.
Next basket by Solani. He's passing Marquise Gately. 1 point behind right now. Quick 5. 2 point pass behind. Yeah. 14:73 to 14:74.
So after the Jelani Clark made 3, he now has 20 points. And according to Pat Sagerson, he is 1 point away from passing the great Marquise Gately for second on the all-time scoring list here at Riordan. But that is merely a footnote right now compared to what is going on, which is this huge game with first place on the line in the WCAL. Mitty with the ball up 1 with 1:44 to go. Mike Mitchell off that big 2-point make has the ball. And now Green has it, guarded by Monroe. Riordan has to get stops, of course. Been hard to come by here as of late. Mitchell wanted the 3, thought about it, went inside. And now Chan whistled for the foul on the entry pass to Bondal. So Mitty will get a fresh shot clock with 1:26 left. And 5 team fouls now against Riordan. Ooh, tough pass somehow got to Burris. Now Green has it, guarded by Monroe. Very tense here in the Crusader Forum. A home team down 1. Mike Mitchell got inside, goes up, no good. Bondal right there to tip it home. Back to a 3-point game with 1 minute left. Monroe down the floor, into the lane. Scoops it up, no good. Tip by Chan is good. 55 seconds left. Riordan can play defense here, trailing by 1. Mitchell gets Hubbard. He pushed off. Oh, they don't call it. They call a foul on Lee Hubbard on the floor. That's 6 against the Crusaders. I thought for a moment the trail official was going to call an offensive foul. Riordan just hasn't been able to get the needed stops to win this one. And Mitty, conversely, has made the plays to put themselves in position to win. But we're not done yet. Timeout Mitty with 47.4 seconds left and 35 on the shot clock here at the Crusader Forum. When the full timeout is finally over, Mitty will have it on the baseline. Riordan does not have to foul, obviously. Tough pass inside to Green, who's got it, and he dribbles out. Oh, very dangerous, but they got it. Mitchell on the drive, goes by Hubbard, goes up, no good, got to get the board. Riordan does, and a foul. A foul has been called against Mitty, and Dominic Wilson is going to shoot an enormous 1-and-1. with 36.2 to go, trailing by 1. And that's exciting and all, but now you got to make the free throws. Dom Wilson. A 1-and-1 here. First one up. First one down. We're tied at 59. And that was pure. Good looking stroke by Wilson. Dom has had an amazing senior season. List is short there, tipped out. Mitty has it. Shot clock and game clock separated by literally tenths of a second. Riordan obviously needs a stop. Riordan cannot foul. They start the count now, they reset it. We're down to 18. Mike Mitchell, guarded by Hubbard. Timeout Tim Kennedy with 12 seconds showing on both the shot clock and the game clock. And that was Mitty's final timeout here, tied at 59. So free throws have hurt the Crusaders here a bit. Some key misses. Wilson did make the first to tie it, but he missed the second. So now Mitty can take this down. After this timeout, I'm going to catch my breath here for the final moments here on the Riordan Broadcast Network. So out of the timeout, at least on the clock, what we see, the shot clock and game clock were even. So they're going to turn the shot clock off and the game clock at 12 seconds. Mitty now out of timeouts. Inbound goes to Mitchell. Flip it over to Bondal. Back to Mitchell. Out to Burris. To Bondal. And he makes it. And I think that's going to be it. The officials are going to say ball game. Arish Bondal, who had an all-time night, slips inside and gets it to go. And it's heartbreak for the Crusaders. And euphoria for the Monarchs. So Riordan takes the loss. And this crowd, at least those that are rooting for Riordan, are stunned. So 31 points for Bondal, his final two. The game winner, basically his time expires. So we are done here tonight. Our next broadcast will be the broadcast of our senior night game here next Tuesday against Sacred Heart Cathedral. 7:30 the scheduled start time for that, and we'll have the senior night ceremony before that. Heartbreaking defeat, Mitty with the win. Final score here on the Riordan Broadcast Network. Mitty 61 and Riordan 59.